Waka should be up in a few minutes. We'll start with Jalen on your left, Michael.
Hey, Michael, what has been maybe the differences in preparation, knowing that you were preparing to start Game 3 against the Orioles to now preparing for the Yankees in Game 1?
Yeah, as soon as we clinched, I would just say the focus kind of all went into the Yankees and just, started my prep work on them to face them tomorrow night.
We'll go to Ron up front.
Why do you think over the years you've had such success against Aaron Judge?
I don't know. It's he's a guy that you definitely game plan for, and that you have to make really quality pitches to a guy like that. And I don't know if you up the focus against him or not, because I try to keep the same focus for everybody. But maybe just a little bit more aware of, hey, this is where I can miss, and different things like that. But yeah, you just have to make really quality pitches against a guy like that.
After at bats against him, when he doesn't succeed against you, do you go woo, or yep, it worked?
I don't know if I really have those thoughts. It's kind of all right. Who's coming up next type of deal. Yeah, just he's definitely a guy that you try to keep quiet in the lineup.
Go to Eric and then Zach.
As a pitcher, what impresses you most when you've watched Garrett Cole over the years?
Yeah, no, he's an absolute stud. I think just very consistent. Year in and year out, he's throwing up really good numbers, a lot of punch outs, low ERAs, and throwing up a lot of innings as well. He's he's healthy a lot of years, and that's something that I admire as a starting pitcher as well. That's what you try to be as a starting pitcher, is consistent, and you want to give the team something that they can count on going out there. And he's been a staple of that over the past 10, 12 years now.
Go to Zach in the third row, Michael.
What's impressed you the most about playing with Bobby Witt? Is there one thing that just really stands out, for a young guy at his age to be playing the way he has?
Bobby, he's an unbelievable player. Played against him over the past couple years, and then getting to join up with him, getting to see it firsthand for a full 162 has been something really special. That's for sure. I love the way he just how he plays the game. He's full throttle, running on and off the field. He's hard 90s down to first. I've never seen anybody square up that many balls. A lot of hard contact. Even his outs are loud, and he's an unbelievable guy, unbelievable player, and looking forward to seeing him in this next series as well. He was seemed unfazed in his first postseason games there in Baltimore, and just credit to him to the way he preps for each game and each series, and the way he prepares his mind as well is really impressive.
Go to the third row on your left, Melanie.
Michael, you're no stranger to playing in the postseason. How are you planning on using that experience in order to kind of prepare for your start tomorrow?
Yeah, lucky for me, I've had some postseason experience, and I think each time you're in the postseason, just gets a little bit more and more comfortable kind of on what to expect whenever you're out there, and how to handle certain situations. So definitely going to draw on past experience, in this postseason as well. And so, lucky to have that experience in the past, and hopefully use that to my advantage.
And Jalen in the second row.
Michael, what was your thoughts watching Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo do what they did, match role pitching performances against the Orioles, and did it inspire you to kind of follow in their footsteps going into tomorrow?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those guys took the ball in that series and did exactly what they've been doing all year. It's they go out there and compete. They throw strikes and attack hitters and keep guys off balance and have a lot of success doing that. And that was no different in that series there. And similar to what we've been doing all year, we try to feed off of each other and, keep that starting rotation just rolling and keep building off of each start and things like that. But no, I was very impressed with the way they went about it last series.
Second row on your right, Bill.
What is it like to throw to Salvador Perez, and how much has he helped your season this year?
Yeah, that was one of the most things I was looking forward to whenever I signed here was getting to throw to Sal, and it's been great getting to build that relationship with him out there on the field has been incredible. He's got a great mind behind the plate. He's a big target to throw to. He's controls the run game behind the plate. He's got an absolute cannon back there, and we're lucky here. We got two really good catchers here with Sal and with Freddie. But yeah, speaking about Sal, it's been a lot of fun to work with him, bounce different ideas off of him, and he's got a lot of experience as well, and so he's seen a lot of these hitters, seen a lot of baseball games, and has a really good feel for the game. And so getting to work with him this year has really helped me a lot as well, just taking my game to another level, I feel like.
Go to John.
Thanks, Michael. Good to see you. I know that the changeup's been so important for you throughout your career. I wonder, as a pitcher changes and goes through different phases of your career, how have you adapted that changeup, whether it's the grip or the mechanics that have helped it remain the pitch that it is right now?
Yeah, no, it's definitely an important pitch for me in my repertoire. But as far as the grip and mechanics of it, I would say it's pretty similar grip that I've used kind of my entire career. I would say things that have changed with it, different counts that I throw it in, finding what hitters and kind of locations on where to throw it has kind of evolved over the years, I would say. But it's definitely one of my go-to pitches for sure, and is definitely something that I can use to keep guys off balance, I would say. Yeah.
Go to Ron up front.
As someone who's been in several organizations, is there anything that stands out to you the way the Royals handle pitchers?
How they handle pitchers?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything is too different from past organizations that I've played on. I can't speak on the staff that we have here is unbelievable. Getting to work with Sweeney and a lot of the guys behind the scenes with different pitch designs. I guess over the course of this year, just working on different pitches and kind of adding to my repertoire, I guess you could say. But they've done an unbelievable job with that, and they get us everything that we need as far as scouting reports, getting us ready game plan wise. Mindset going into starts, everything that we ask for, they come through and get us more than what we actually need. So it's everything's readily available, and it's a great staff that I'm lucky enough to be a part of.
And how for you, since you arrived in baseball, has pitching changed where you got here, there was a pitching coach who gave you ideas, and now there's, like you say, all these behind-the-scenes people with advice and ideas and data?
Yeah, that's definitely changed. I think the technology part of the game has definitely increased from the time that I broke into the MLB. But I think it's all really helpful. I think you learn as a player how much you need, because I know that it can be, I guess, overuse, or I don't know the word, but can be overwhelming, I guess, for some players whenever they're just getting into it. But over the years, just gradually adding a little bit at a time, it's kind of what I've done, and I feel like it's been real helpful. I mean, every bullpen that I throw now, it's got the TrackMan, and we've got numbers, and especially whenever you're working on a pitch and trying to get it to do a certain thing, you have that instant feedback coming right there to you that wasn't there whenever I just came up in 2013. So it's kind of crazy to think about.
Do you have a few last ones? Max on your left.
Michael, I know you haven't faced Juan Soto too much in your career, but what makes him such a tough out?
Yeah, I haven't faced him too much. I think last time was whenever he was still with the Nationals, but I was able to play with him last year in San Diego, so got to see him for a full year as well there. And no, he's just an unbelievable talent. He swings at strikes, lays off of balls out of the zone, and whenever he does swing, he makes a really good contact with the ball and hits the ball hard and finds a lot of holes. And he hits for average, hits for power, drives guys in. He's an unbelievable talent. Like I said, he's somebody that you got a game plan for sure.
Okay.
Can I do one more?
Yeah.
And beyond Soto and Judge, what is it that makes the rest of this Yankees lineup challenging as you game plan to face them?
Yeah, no, it's a deep lineup. Similar to Soto, a lot of these guys that they swing at strikes, they lay off of balls, and so you got to make quality pitches in the zone to get them out. And it's deep. They battle, they foul off pitches, and get deep into counts, and so you got a game plan for that, and try to work around those deep counts and try to get early quick outs to get deep into the game. But no, it's a challenging lineup, but looking forward to the opportunity.
One more behind you.
Michael, it's been a while since the Royals and Yankees have played in a postseason series. The last time was in the early 1980s. And have you seen highlights of just those two teams playing against each other? And what does it mean to write the next chapter in that story?
Yeah, I wasn't born then, but definitely have seen some highlights over the past couple days once we knew the matchup. And it's great. It's great for the fans. It's to bring back that those games and those memories, and looking forward to like I said, looking forward to this opportunity that we've got here in New York. Hopefully we can go out there and compete the way we've been competing, and make the Kansas City fans proud.
Do two last ones, Melanie and then Jack.
Michael, what do you remember from your first ever postseason, and how does the lead up to tomorrow kind of compare to that?
Yeah, it was my rookie year in 2013, and I had a handful of starts underneath my belt, and my first postseason start was a elimination game on the road in Pittsburgh, and so it was definitely some nerves, but I was lucky enough to have a lot of veterans on that team that I was able to bounce questions off of, kind of what to expect out there type of deal. And that gave me kind of a peace of mind going out there, and so still falling back on those words of wisdom from those guys, taking it into this start tomorrow, is something I'll be doing for sure.
I'll finish up with Jack, far back on your right, Michael.
Michael, you talked about the Yankee lineup a couple of questions ago, but Soto and Judge are obviously the minefield in that lineup, and even with the numbers that you've accumulated against Judge, as a savvy veteran pitcher, how do you pattern your approach tomorrow to make sure those two guys don't beat you?
I don't know if I want to go too deep into that question there, but those two in that lineup, I mean, their numbers speak for themselves. They're one of the best 1-2 combo in the league there. So, but that doesn't mean that the rest of those 7 guys aren't players there as well. So, like I was saying, it's a deep lineup that you got to be on your game the whole time you're out there. You absolutely do. You can't take a pitch off against this team, and so just excited to get out there tomorrow and get this series rolling.
All right, Michael, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hey, Q. Just wondering about Bobby and everything that's put on his shoulders all year, from starting with the contract and being the star MVP candidate throughout the year. How have you seen him handle those big moments?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen him change one bit. I think everything that's put on his shoulders is a positive thing and well deserved. So I think at the end of the day, he's a really grounded person, and I think he understands that attention's going to come his way, and it's okay to be positive, to understand that it's okay to accept compliments, and it's okay to know that he doesn't have all the answers either. He's gonna continue to grow. He doesn't ever proclaim anything like he's got it figured out. He's still growing, he's still learning, and he's still trying to be the best teammate he can be.
Any questions for Matt? We'll go to John in the second row on your right.
Thanks, Matt. When you think about Vinnie coming back in this series, how did your expectations relate to what he was able to do in a lot of ways, just being back in the lineup?
Well, I mean, my expectations went from 0 to 100 in a hurry, really. And it was last weekend in D.C. where I was able to see him hit for the first time in the cage and just see that he was not guarding it. He was not wincing. He wasn't trying to just fight his way through it. I'm sure he doesn't feel normal, but to be able to see him cut it loose like that was really encouraging to me and really pretty cool for him, and I know he just provided a boost to the morale of the team to come back. I mean, you lose your 3-hole hitter, the guy that's been that productive, that's a big blow. And I mean, these guys understand it's great somebody else got opportunity, but they want to win, and they think that's the best chance for us.
Go to Bruce in the second row.
Hey, Matt, how would you describe this opportunity for you and your ball club going up against the team that had the best record in the American League and with their long-standing tradition?
Well, thankfully, we're not playing against their tradition, right? We're playing against the team that we're facing off against this week. And that's going to be plenty of a challenge, right? We understand how talented they are, but nobody gets to this point in the offseason or the postseason without being talented and being a good team. So we take it as a challenge. We understand that most people are going to think that they are the favorites, but that doesn't matter when you get out on the field, right? It doesn't matter what the fans think or the media says or whatever. We have to compete one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, one game at a time, and just do the best we can. And that's the mindset that our guys have gone with the whole year.
Got Ron up front, Matt.
Coming off the season you had last year, when you got to spring training, was there any particular approach you took with the guys to build self-belief, or did that progression happen naturally?
Well, I can tell you it started in the off season. We made a dedicated focus to have a better mentality, a more competitive mentality, and understanding that what happened last year was not going to dictate one thing about this year unless we let it. And then once we signed the free agents we signed, they were crystal clear with me that they had no interest in talking one bit about last year because they were not part of that team and it had nothing to do with them. And I think that from day one of spring training was the thing that really stuck with me and inspired me the most, that this was going to be different. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I didn't know we'd be sitting here, but nobody knows they're going to be in the postseason, right? But the mentality and the belief that they had with themselves of we're going to win games, that was good enough for me.
For the returning guys during the offseason, were there any specific communications to get across that message to them?
The competitive part was huge. JJ was emphatic about that with players, with staff, with player development, because we're in an age of baseball where there's a lot to be said about training, whether that's pitch design or swing mechanics or biomechanics, all that stuff, which has its place and is vitally important. But that's not going to make one bit of difference when we're out there facing Garrett Cole tomorrow. It's who's going to compete better, who's going to be in the right mindset to go out there and get the job done, whether that's moving a runner, stealing a base, getting a curveball down below the zone, whatever it is. And those are the things that we tried to instill and embrace the best we could through the offseason and spring training.
Thank you.
We'll go to Zach and then Peter just to stay on the right side.
What's your favorite quality in Bobby?
His quality, is that what you said? His humility. Yeah. Because I think if you're humble and you understand that you don't have it all figured out, this game This game will do it to you, but he doesn't need to be humbled because he is a humble guy. He approaches it that way every day, that he's just one of the guys going out there to compete at the highest level he can.
Go to Peter on the right.
You mentioned Garrett Cole. Just what have you seen from him as his season's kind of rounded into form and getting into this point?
Well, we haven't seen him live. Following, I know he didn't pitch until June so we missed him both times we played him, but I've seen plenty of him over the years to know that he's a unicorn in this game. He's a closer that can do it for 9 innings. He locates, he's got plus pitches on every front. He can pitch to righties and lefties. He's super competitive. He seems to be built for the big stage and really embrace that. So he is the ultimate competitor. He's been one of the most elite pitchers in the game for a long time now, and it's a tremendous challenge to go up against him anytime you get the opportunity.
So kind of to that point, how do you approach facing him tomorrow?
You have to be disciplined, right? Because he can strike the ball with the best of them, and if you expand, you're going to have a tough time. But if you get him in the zone, you got a chance. You're going to have to understand that what he does, and you can't chase him around the zone because he's so good at executing his pitches. You're going to have to be disciplined on what you're looking for and hope it matches up.
The third row on your left, Matt. Melanie.
Reagan's left the first game of the wild card a bit early due to leg cramps, but he is set to start game 2. How is he feeling after a few days rest?
Completely fine. He was really okay that night or the next day. It's just one of those unfortunate things where those cramps, they don't let up, in the moment. He just had to get hydrated and get off of his legs for a little bit, but he's completely fine.
And Michael Waka talked a little bit about how veterans helped him as a young rookie, during his first postseason. How have you seen him step up into that veteran role that helped him once to the other young players in the clubhouse?
I can't say enough good things about him as a teammate. I really can't. He is the most dialed in pitcher I have ever seen when he's not pitching. He's into every pitch. He's high-fiving guys for keeping the double play in order, for breaking up a double play, for throwing to the right base. He's into every at-bat when his teammates are up there. He's looking for things with the other team when he's on the bench. He is the consummate professional. Now, when it comes to his own preparation and watching how he goes about it and planning, we have a lot of guys that are good, and he's one of them. And I think our younger pitchers have followed that lead. And it's also the steadiness, the understanding that not every outing is going to be a gem, and to how do you bounce back from that? And then how do you handle the successes when people do start talking about you? And he checks every one of those boxes.
Go to Annie in the second row.
I think I've heard you talk about the Royals-Yankees rivalry from late 70s, early 80s. But what did you hear about that, or maybe what did you remember from the later years of that intense rivalry?
Well, that's the word I would have said, intense. They were the team, as a fan of the Yankees growing up, that you were like, oh, we're playing the Royals again. Like one of those things, because, I don't know, as a kid, Kansas City was another planet away for me, that was out west, and they'd go out west, and they were tough games or whatever, that kind of mentality. But clearly knew who George Brett was and how good he was, and Willie Wilson and the guys that affected the games. Was always aware of Dennis Leonard because he's from the same town as my aunt and uncle lived in and all that. So just had a pretty good awareness of them from even a young age and how talented they were. But when you keep playing the same team year after year in the playoffs, you have no choice but to take note of them.
We got 3 more, starting with Gary.
You mentioned Yankees fandom. Just being a New Yorker, does it mean anything extra to you to be managing here in the postseason?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, I'm so focused on our guys. I was a Yankees fan a long time ago. That was another world ago in my baseball career. But to be able to be here with our guys, I'm super proud of them, and just that's where my focus is.
We'll go to Max and then John.
Matt, how do you make sure that Judge and Soto don't beat you in this series?
We got to execute. I mean, that's there's going to be opportunities, I'm sure, where we're going to pitch to them. We're going to have to pitch to them, but there's other times when we'll try not to let them beat us. But we don't have the answer written in stone. We're going to have to execute, but I do like our guys and their stuff and their ability to execute. So I think it's got to be one or the other, right? You got to attack, or you got to put them on. Essentially, you can't try to be careful. That's not a philosophy we're going to take.
We'll go to John, and then we'll finish up with Ron.
Thanks. And Matt, I'm curious about Urseg and his arrival. In what way has he both directly and indirectly helped you? Directly because of what he does, and then indirectly because of the way that you can now utilize the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, great point. Well, he's been incredible, as you've seen. His stuff is remarkable. His efficiency is really impressive. He doesn't back down from anybody. He has that mindset of, I'm coming after you. You know, you're going to have to beat me. And then to the second part of that, guys understand that, okay, we have a guy that can do that now. And we understand that we're asking a lot of him in that role, but we've asked a lot of young guys this year, or I don't know, young, inexperienced guys in high leverage. And we were saying all along, you know, internally, that we thought that would benefit us down the road. Now, we didn't realize it would happen as quickly as it has, but the Sam Longs and Zerpas and Bubic coming back from injury, and prior to getting hurt, MacArthur, and the list goes on of Daniel Lynch, guys that have just stepped up and executed. And I think when roles take a while to define themselves, but when they do, they tend to work.
I'll finish up with Ron up front.
You mentioned before another life ago. Years ago in Bowling Green or with the Renegades or Albany, did you envision yourself one day running a big league team in a postseason stage?
No. I mean, I think, if anything, I would have envisioned myself playing, but that didn't happen. So, no, and I can truthfully tell you, like, every step of the way, wherever I've been, I've embraced that, you know, and you know, taken pleasure in wherever I've been and just enjoyed the moment. And I think that's what's allowed me to enjoy this as much as I have too, because it wasn't about getting to the next step. It was about doing the best I could at the step I was in, and understanding that you're nowhere without everybody that supports you. It's not you, it's the group that you're with. And I've been super fortunate to work with and play for and learn from some of the greatest people and some of the best baseball minds, you know, in the game.
Which job tested you the most?
I can honestly tell you, I've been tested every step of the way, right? I mean, because you don't come into any job having it figured out. At least in my case, I certainly haven't. So I've learned tons in every job I've been in, whether that was my first job as a professional coach or getting this job, you know. And I think every day I'm learning something, right? Now, whether I can manage to retain it all and keep getting